Hello, Doug here from the Hundredfold Journey. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night live event. The Hundredfold is about a group of people that are looking to find their true identity, and by doing so, finding God's true identity. Our purpose here at a Hundredfold is to come alongside you on your spiritual journey and give you the tools, resources, and even challenges to help you on your spiritual journey. And we do lots of different things. We do these Wednesday night live events where we talk about certain topics, whether it's about the power of your subconscious mind, being mindful, loving ourselves. So we talk about different topics on Wednesday night. We also have some resources on our website where we do studies, Bible studies, we do some meditations, and we also have some blogs that are on thehundredfoldjourney.com. So again, part of Wednesday night is bringing you resources and tools. And this evening we have the honor and privilege of meeting Gary Buckmann, who is the author of a new book called Broken to Brilliant: Overcome Obstacles to Create Opportunities and Achieve the Impossible. So Gary, thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, thanks, Doug. Thanks for having me and inviting me into this wonderful community of a Hundredfold.
You got it. And really appreciate the opportunity to be one of the first to read your books and also to have an opportunity to interview you. And for those that are online, there's actually a 30-minute interview, which Gary and I did, and that will be published this Friday, which is in coordination with the publication of his book. So March 12th, you will be able to buy the copy of this book, and you'll also be able to see the interview. And the interview will be posted on the Gary Buckmann Facebook page, as well as Victoria Buckmann, who is Gary's wife. And so you can go online to the Facebook and see that interview, the full 30 minutes. So tonight is actually after the interview, we did talk about possibly doing a Wednesday night live, and Gary was kind enough to say, sure, I'll join you guys on Wednesday night. So again, Gary, thanks for your willingness to join us tonight.
You're so welcome.
So for those that are not familiar with your story, if you could just kind of call it a 1,000-foot overview of your story and why you ended up writing this book.
Well, in college, I was a top-level gymnast. And one day in practice, I was doing a vault that only 2 or 3 people in the country were trying. And I landed on my head from 8.5 feet in the air and knocked me out, broke my neck, and I was paralyzed. And all of the doctors told me that I wasn't responding and that I was going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. And basically, I made a decision and decided to heal myself. And so I wrote a book. It's a memoir of my entire life, and it centers around the healing mainly, but it's how I connected the dots from my childhood all the way through till present day that enabled me to have the strength and fortitude and faith to be able to heal myself.
Yeah, and that's an amazing story. And if I remember correctly, it just was a couple of years of that process of healing yourself. Correct? It was a couple of years?
Yes, it took me 3 years total to come back into competitive gymnastics.
Right.
But actually within a couple of years, I had movement again.
So what's amazing about that story is that you were competing at a high level. I think it was like 4 or 5 years after you being diagnosed as paralyzed from the neck down, where you couldn't move your arms and legs.
Right. It was like, I broke my neck in 1972, and my senior year in 1975 was my strongest year of competition.
Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing. And then you went on to become a trainer and work with some Olympians and Brian Bottino and several others. And then you also traveled throughout the world. Maybe explain a little bit of that.
Yeah, so once after breaking my neck, it was my motivation going into coaching. I knew I was going to go into the coaching world because I started in high school and I knew what I wanted to do. So once I broke my neck, I had a real thirst for, knowledge. And I developed a program that was a sequential step-by-step program that helped develop complete body awareness, because I was never going to let, one of my athletes get hurt like I did. And the reason that I got hurt is because my coach skipped steps with me and I wasn't aware that I was in trouble.
Yep.
And so with this program, my gymnast had so much success that I was asked to be on the USA coaching staff. And I got to travel around the world with the USA team and work with all of these amazing elite athletes and actually elite human beings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, all of this after this accident, to be able to come back strong. And now, again, I met you on Friday. You are healthy, strong, and I call you a walking miracle. It's just amazing to see you just fit, strong. You look like you're 50 years old, and it's just amazing. So talk about the choice that you made on healing yourself, and the thought processes that you had to go through after you got that diagnosis.
Oh, wow. Well, the day that the doctor came in and gave me the news, being 20, I just said, and an athlete, I said, no way, that's not the plan. I didn't have a plan. But making that decision, it started the ball rolling. And then, of course, I didn't heal overnight, obviously. But it seems like when, you have a knowing inside that you can do something, then the universe and God, everybody else just starts lining things up to help you. And I think, making that decision, and I think that happens to a lot of us in life. It's kind of like, when you want to do something in life and you keep saying it over and over again, and then it comes true. Yeah. That's just the universe working in your favor.
Right, right. Now, you mentioned that your mom was like an inspiration. She inspired you. What other things, because being a 20-year-old and being in that experience, drawing from your mom, what other, was it a church or God or spirit or friends, or what was those resources that you were pulling from?
Well, it was a combination of a lot of things, Doug. Yeah. But mainly, it was that inner feeling, and knowing that I could do it. And at age 20, I really wasn't aware of, I wasn't very spiritual at that time. Yeah. I'd gained everything through the physical, and I thought I, was invincible. And then, the universe took it away from me and said, okay, now what? And so I had to turn internally and then do that. But it was my mother, she was 4'11" and 90 pounds soaking wet. Yeah. But she was this tough, tenacious Iowa farm girl that, just instilled in me to believe in myself from a young age. And she always reminded me that dynamite came in small packages, mm-hmm. And so, and then it was basically the main support that I got was from my teammates that were also my roommates. We all lived together in the team house. And without them, there would be no Broken to Brilliant person. They nursed me back to health in a lot of ways. I mean, they really had to take care of me and feed me and dress me and all that stuff. But at the same time, they gave me all of the emotional support that I needed, and they gave me tough love when I needed it, so that I wouldn't lose my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, a good reason to buy the book is those stories are gold mines as far as the individuals that had the impact on your life, how they treated you and treated you as an equal. So those stories are worth the book, and especially again, some of the people that you've met along the way in the hospital and your coaches and so forth. So again, the book is just amazing, the stories that you tell there.
Yeah, and in hindsight, when I was writing the book, it hit me like to think that this was a bunch of 20-year-old guys that were in school competing and traveling, and they were there every day. They had to have some kind of schedule to come
Mm.
into the hospital every day. Somebody was there supporting me every day.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing.
Right. Yeah. So at 100-fold, we talk a lot about, the power of your subconscious mind. In fact, this month we have a challenge called March Mindful. So we are trying to be mindful of the thoughts that we have internally, as well as the way we view our world externally. The dialogue that you had internally while you were going through that healing process, can you maybe describe that and maybe help others that are going through a struggle, and what language, what words, what were you talking to yourself about to get you through?
Well, the first thing I did was I allowed myself to feel all of those emotions and all of that internal dialogue,
Yeah.
all the negativity. In fact, the day I got the news, I remember telling the nurses not to let anybody in to see me, not even my teammates.
Hmm.
And I gave myself 24 hours and just went through all of these thoughts and scenarios and everything else. And then I just said, okay, that's it. I'm done. And now I'm going to use everything that I have, internally and for myself to heal myself.
Yeah.
And one of the main things I did was to visualize. I used visualization in gymnastics to see myself doing routines and hitting routines.
Hmm.
So I started visualizing, because for 24/7, I was laying flat on my back in traction, flat on my back,
Not
staring
much
at
to do.
yeah, not much to do, staring at
Yeah.
the ceiling.
Yeah.
That, by the way, didn't even have any dots in it to count. And just seeing myself back to my normal life, back with the guys at school, working out, competing, going to football games, dances, parties, everything that I did in school. But I really got detail oriented and even saw the nerve impulses going from my brain back into my muscles to make my body move again.
Amazing.
And so, and like you said, having your subconscious mind, thoughts become things after a while.
Yes.
So.
So you actually visualized you repairing the broken bones, as well as visualizing yourself in your future and the way you wanted to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think, without giving away too much of the book, I mean, all of that basically came about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So, as far as applying that to today, obviously we've been talking about the past and, 50 years ago and that experience. So today, obviously you've taken that and learned from that. So those same tools, I'm sure you're using today. Could you help describe maybe how you're using that today?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that Victoria and I do is that we set intentions.
Mm-hmm.
We set intentions every day, for things to go in a smooth flow or whatever it is, even if it's something simple as I have to go out and skim the leaves off the pool. I set my intention that it goes smoothly and effortlessly and in the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those little things like that that make a huge difference. And you want to start small, like lots of times we set a little intention when we're going downtown to say, okay, I'm going to get a parking space right in front.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I get a parking space right in front, and then you go on to bigger and better things. But we also have, balance in our life and rituals, like we get up every morning and the first thing we do is send love to ourselves. Then we send love out to, all of our friends and family, and then out in the neighborhood, into the universe. And we do our prayers and meditation. And we make sure that we stop, breathe, take breaks, and not just overload ourselves, and have a nice balance between, life, working out, relationships, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that's terrific, because in our hectic world, especially with a lot of the negativity around, it's very difficult to get out of that. And sometimes we allow life to happen to us. And I know you mentioned that versus for us, but having life to us, then we become a victim of it. And lo and behold, we do have the power to change. And what you just described and your whole life demonstrates that you do have the power to change, even if you break your back, your neck, and are paralyzed. You have the ability, you have the power to change. We just don't know it. We haven't tapped into that. Exactly. So hopefully what we're doing here tonight and we're highlighting that for people and say that is if it's possible for him, then it's possible for me.
Yeah. You know, it's like, I always like to tell people, you know, like, I don't have any special powers or anything else. We all have the same facilities. We all have this beautiful thing called the mind. Yes. That we can utilize and use to, in the way that we want to create what we want to. Yeah. You know, and I think that, you know, one of the things that we're working on right at the moment is to be aware of our language, mm-hmm. our external language, mm-hmm. and especially our internal language. What are we telling ourselves? Yeah. Because it's those kind of things that you say to yourself and that develops the beliefs, you know, that, oh, I can't do that, or I can't, you know, I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not whatever enough. And that's not the truth. You know, it's just the perception that we have of ourselves. But the real truth is, you know, we have unlimited power to tap into, mm-hmm. you know.
Right. Yeah. And our words and our thoughts are very powerful. Caroline Leaf, who is an author of a book called Switch on Your Brain, she said that if you knew how powerful your words and your thoughts were, you would never have a negative thought again, because it is that powerful. So the words of I'm not good enough, I can't, well, guess what's going to be manifest is you're right. You're never going to be good enough. You're never going to have enough, because that's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah, and that's what you're putting out into the universe, and that's what the universe is mirroring back to you.
Bingo. Because life is a mirror, which reflects back what you truly believe and think. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as to the daily habits and you know the prayers and the meditations, where do you find resources on that? Is that something that you've tapped into, you know, a certain author or a certain, you know, meditation that you guys do or you key into?
Well, my wife, you know, she always finds these things all over the place. She's one of those miracle workers. Uh-huh. She's a magician. But we have this thing called Daily Word, and it every day it has a prayer and a message for you. So we get up and read the Daily Word, you know. So we've really, you know, tapped into that, and we're more of, you know, not in organized religion or anything like that, but we're spiritual, very spiritual.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, there's definitely a spirit that holds all of this together, right? And I like to define that as love, right? Love is the spirit, the power, the energy, the quantum field, if you will. It's love, and it's what holds everything together. And when we tap into that, then it gives us the power to love ourselves first, because we have to be full in order to love others. And it just kind of flows through us. But we've got to tap into that. We have to acknowledge it. We have to set the intention to it, everything that you've just described.
Yeah. And, you know, and then also too, it's great to have a support group like yours, and, you know, or a church or whatever else, because, you know, we've been involving ourselves with a lot of organizations that are trying to, you know, educate everyone to how, you know, life really works.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and so, yeah.
One of the resources that we have at 100-fold, which I think is a foundational one, is gratitude. So I actually wrote I won't call it a book, but it's a workbook where it's 21 days of gratitude. And it's every single day for 21 days, you're finding 10 blessings to find in your life. And when we have the eyes of gratitude, then we will find things to be grateful for. And the more we're grateful for it, the more we become grateful. So it's a snowball effect, and gratitude starts with that. So so that's another resource that you guys can find on our website as well.
Perfect. Yeah, because that was one of our go-to things. When things were rough or something, we would go to gratitude. Another thing that we do is we appreciate things.
Mm-hmm.
We used to say I was grateful for. Now I say I appreciate. Whereas we can appreciate everything. And I think we talked about it a little bit the other night. Like you can even appreciate the shadow side of yourself.
Right.
I appreciate that I was frustrated today with what Victoria said to me or something. And so that once you appreciate it, then you can see the gift in it. And once you see the gift in it, then you can move forward from it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And everything is a lesson and an opportunity for us to grow if we think of it that way.
Exactly.
Right. And your quote, I'll just quote you, life happens for you, not to you. So every opportunity is an opportunity to grow and change and learn more about ourselves.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, fantastic. So it's 6:55. I'm not sure if there's anything else you'd like to talk about, but we did want to have an opportunity for those that are online to ask questions. This is kind of an open forum group. So while they're maybe gathering their notes together, was there anything else that you'd like to share, Gary?
Well, I think that one of the things that we didn't get to mention the other night was that, little things. I used to say it in the gym, minor adjustments make a huge difference in the outcome of a skill. And it's the same thing for life. And so I like to just, do the little things, like just when you see somebody smile at them, it just changes it. You know what I mean? Anything that we can do when I go on my bike ride, I wave at everybody, and it's so funny to watch them light up and wave back and
Right.
say hi and how are you? And, it's just, so if you can just start doing little things, for yourself first and then for others, it will make a huge difference.
Yeah, very true. We tend to kind of get in our bubble, and I think about, I go out on walks and stuff, and it's the same thing. People kind of have their heads down, but as soon as you say something, it's, oh yeah, hi, how are you? Because, they're all embarrassed, but yeah, very, very good. And I like the small things because they're the snowball effect, right? They grow, and then it becomes easier the next time you do it.
Yeah, I have a story about that. Like when we travel a lot. We have timeshares all over the world and stuff. And so when we go places, when I see staff members at our timeshare or at a hotel or wherever we're staying, I make sure I go over and I just, tell them, I say, you know what? Thank you so much for the work you're doing, because without you, this place would not run and function the way it does. And we wouldn't be as comfortable as we are.
Right.
And boy, just to watch their faces light up, because they don't think people appreciate what they do. They don't think their job's important, and it is.
Yes. No, that's great. Yeah, every opportunity you be the love and the light to people, and you'll light them up because you're a light, and you're passing that on. Oh, that's great. Okay, well, Gary, thanks again. We will go ahead and open it up. So if you feel comfortable turning on your camera, we are recording. If not, then feel free to jump in and ask Gary any question that you might have. So those that are online, and any particular question for Gary tonight?
This is Victoria. I don't have a question, but I wanted to kind of piggyback on a couple things that you said about gratitude.
Yes.
We actually buy these big poster boards at the office supply store, and we've got a big baggie full of colored pens that we buy at Costco or whatever.
Yep.
And the poster boards are on the wall in our bathroom, and the pens are right there in the bottom of the closet. And every night before we go to bed, we write down 2 or 3 gratitudes in our colored pens. And by the end of the year, we've got 4 or 5 huge poster boards going all the way across the wall in our bathroom.
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
then we can sit down and read all the things that we were grateful for at the end of the year as a reminder. So that's kind of fun. And then you were asking about resources. We have a meditation that we do. It's called the breathing room.
Okay.
And it's kind of, there's a few of them out there that say the breathing room. So this one is kind of like pink and yellow. It's almost like kind of sherbety colors, but it's this couple out of India who have a super high vibration.
Yeah.
And when you listen to and follow along with their meditations, amazing things happen. So we listen to one in the morning called Soul Sync. And then we listen to another one at night called, what's the name of it, Gary? I think it's Universal Intelligence or something
Universal
like that.
Intelligence. Yes, it is.
And those are some fun resources. I think it's, for the breathing room, I think it's like $25 for the whole entire year or something like that. And they probably have 50 meditations on there. And once or twice a year, they do this week-long festival where we're sending out really good love energy to different women, children, different groups or whatever. And it's super powerful. It's just, and it makes you feel so good. And you know that you're making a difference in the world.
Right. Oh, that's incredible. So the breathing room, right?
The breathing room.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. Thanks for sharing that.
It's an app. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds so good that I think I'll put a link down. I'll find that and put a link down at the bottom. And with that said, so just to note that we will put a link for the Facebook for Gary and Victoria, and also the website, so that as the interview, the 30-minute interview from before, you'll be able to watch that, and I'll provide the link for that down below. All right. So who else online would like to share, have a question? Okay. Sounds like maybe we got it covered. All right. Again, thanks for joining us here, Gary, and even Victoria. I really appreciate the time, and I love your guys' energy and everything that you're doing. We're hoping to duplicate and send out to our group. So it's a perfect match. So again, really appreciate your time and your energy.
Well, thanks for having me. And I appreciate what you and Rashi and everybody are doing. And 100-Fold is a great organization.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So that's it for this, this Wednesday Night Live. We will post this on our Facebook, and then also have an opportunity to upload it onto our YouTube as well. And so you can access that. Again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us on Facebook through a post, and you can email me at the100foldjourney.com, 100foldjourney at gmail.com, and ask any questions moving forward. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks again, and bye for now.